Welcome back to the next video. In today's video I will show you how to upload a image to AWS S3 using GraphQL file upload in React Native. So firstly I will show you why using JavaScript for this approach is a bad idea. Later on I will show you how to do it via native code. So first I wanted to show you why I couldn't figure it out via JavaScript. Like there are multiple issues with just using JavaScript or TypeScript, whatever you want to call it. So firstly I have this mutation, okay, and this mutation which I have created using my Node.js backend works perfectly fine for native Android, native iOS as well as Flutter, but in React Native it is causing a lot of issue. So I will show you what the issue is. So firstly here you can see this is my Metro bundler running, and this is my backend application terminal running. So this is my backend and this is my Metro bundler. So firstly what I'll do is I'll open my simulator over here and I'll click on upload image. I'll select one image and so here you can see it gives an error, response not successful, okay. But if you see the logs over here, it says that payload too large, request entity too large. Now to resolve this, what mostly I have found is that you have to go to your Node.js backend and you have to use this express JSON limit of 2 MB or increase this size. So I have already used this. I have commented out because it wasn't working for me. I have also tried using this increasing the size of GraphQL Upload Express, and if you see while picking the image from React Native, I am keeping the quality as low as possible, like 0.2, which is really low. Still it is not working for me. So I have commented this out because it wasn't working for me. If you want, I can just uncomment this. I'll comment this one out just to show it to you again. I will run this. Okay, so my server is running. I'll click on upload image. I'll select this image because I know this image is very of less quality as compared to the other image because I have personally captured it, and I'm also decreasing the quality of the image. So if I select, just remove this. So here you can see again I'm getting the same error, request entity too large, okay. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but I'll still show you the JavaScript code because some of you might not be happy with writing native code. That's why I'm showing you guys this. So firstly inside your info.plist you might need to add this NS transport security because my Node.js server is running locally. Also add this photo library permission if you are using that React Native image picker library. Again, this is only for people who want to do it via JavaScript or TypeScript. Later on in the video I will show you how to do it via native code. Next, inside Android manifest.xml I have added internet permission. I have added uses clear text traffic because my Node.js backend is hosted locally. Next, if you go to my package.json, here I have used Apollo client, okay. Then I am using Apollo upload client as well. I have used this base64 thing as well because I want to encode the base64 from an image picker to a blob. Then I have used GraphQL as well. Then I have used GraphQL-WS as well. I'm also using this React Native blob util. There are multiple blob utils package in React Native, and this could get deprecated any point of time. That's why I don't trust this kind of packages. And other thing is all this image picking, conversion to base64, then conversion to blob, everything occurs on the main thread. So your application might feel a little janky as well, and it might even hang. That's why I don't like this stuff. Then I have also used React Native image picker. Once you install all these dependencies, what you can do is just do cd to iOS inside your terminal and do pod install as well. Once that is done, if you go to my app.tsx, here you can see I have added all these imports, okay. So you can just copy all these imports. Next, I have created a WS link, an HTTP link, and from that I am creating a split link, okay. And from that split link I am creating an Apollo client, and I have added this as a context provider, and I have wrapped my upload component inside that. Now if you go to my upload component, this is my GQL for upload mutation, so I just copy pasted it. Next I'm using the use mutation hook. Then if you see my UI, I have just one button, and by default I am showing some image inside our URI. Okay, and if you go over here, so inside use effect, in case if there is any data, I'm printing it to the console. In case there is any error, I'm also printing it to the console, just for debugging purposes. Anyway, any which ways I'm not getting the data, I'm only getting back error. And if you see on the button press, I'm calling pick image, right? So if you go to pick image, I'm launching our image library, and I have said I'm asking it to include base 64. I have also asked it to keep the quality as 0.2. Then I have used base 64 as well. So I'm getting the base 64 from the image itself, and then I have imported this decode. I was also using React Native blob util, but I couldn't figure it out. So if you see, I had also created this issue on React Native blob util on how to do this. Like, I couldn't figure it out by myself, so some guy replied to me that you can use something like this. Okay, so that's why I'm using this technique. It could be wrong. If you know what I'm doing wrong, do let me know, but I don't trust all this React Native blob packages because they get deprecated every year and we have to search for new things. And here you can see that then I'm so here what that guy said on my GitHub issue was that this would be your blob. So I'm sending my blob to upload profile picture, and also so here I'm getting error. Okay, so here I'm just displaying the error. Also, if you check the documentation for this Apollo upload client, the author of the Apollo upload client, he never specified it how to use it with React Native. He has only specified how to use it with React.js or the web. And if you know, for web you have a method called new space blob. We can't use that method in React Native. That is only web specific thing. So like using this Apollo upload client, which is only meant for web purposes, in React Native doesn't fit right to me. Okay, so that's another issue, and all this stuff is happening on the main thread itself, which doesn't sit right with me. Like, if you're working in a small organization, then you might get away with it, but if you're working in a medium to large organization, like, not many people will be happy with this code. So yeah, that's all the issues on the JavaScript side. Now what I'll do is I will create a new React Native application, and I will write the native code for it and show it to you. What I have done is that I have discarded that old React Native project and I have created a new React Native project. I will be using the new architecture to write the native code. So yeah, let's get started. So firstly, create a React Native project. To enable the new architecture, in Android you will have to search for new arc enabled. So just go to your project, search for new arc enabled. Inside Gradle.properties, make this as true. Next, for iOS, you will have to open your terminal and then run this command. So cd to iOS directory and then run this command. So this will enable the new architecture for iOS as well. Next, I will be copying a lot of code from this Turbo Native modules documentation. So keep this documentation handy as well. Also, just to show you guys again, this is how my upload profile picture mutation looks like. So once I send a file, so suppose I have a file like this. Okay, so and here user can select a file. So once I send a file, it uploads to AWS S3, gives me a pre-signed URL. So also, yeah, I'll show you the output as well. So here I have one button called select image. So if I open, it opens the image picker, and if I select an image, it uploads to AWS S3. It gives me a pre-signed URL, and here you can see the image has been displayed. So this is my native Android output. First thing, what you will have to do is you will have to go to build.gradle. Make sure you are using Kotlin version 1.8.20. Next, so I will be copying a lot of code from the Turbo Native module docs. So yeah, first create a folder called rtn my upload. Inside that, create a file called package.json, and again I have copy pasted everything from the the documentation. Only this name has been changed because my folder name is this. This name has been changed, this name has been changed, and the package name has been changed. Next, with the same name I have created a podspec file. Again I have copied it from docs, only this name has been changed. Next, inside that I have created a JS folder. Inside that I have created a TypeScript file, and I have just created a method called upload. And again this has been copied from the docs, only this method name has been changed, and it returns a void. And this, I will tell you why it returns a void, because it is little bit complicated in Android, so I had to use a hack in Android, and this name has been changed. Next, inside Android, create a file called build.gradle. Again I have copied it from the docs, only this package name has been changed. Also I'm using Gradle 8.2.0, which is the latest at the time of this recording, and here I have also added Kotlin standard lib, so 1.8.20. Next, here I have created a folder src main java com rtn my upload. First I have created this package called my upload package.kt. Again I have copied it from the docs, only this package name has been changed, and this upload package, upload modules, this names has been changed. Everything else is from the docs. Next, I have created a my upload module file as well. So here what I am doing is that, again I have copied it from the docs. I am like extending this native my upload spec, and if you remember we have this upload method inside our TypeScript file, so I'm overriding that. Again this name also depends on our folder name. So here you might be seeing that I'm asking for internet permission. Again this is a hack which I have to use so that I can give a callback to the main activity. So once I request the permission, again I know we don't really need permission for Android, it is by default granted. That's why I have to use this hack. So this, once we request this permission, the call will go back to your main activity, and once you get the call to the main activity, you can use register for activity result. You can't use register for activity result inside turbo module. Okay, that's why to pick image I want to use the latest API. I don't want to use any deprecated APIs. That's why I have to use this hack. Okay, next what you can do is, you will again have to open your terminal. First run this command yarn add /rtm upload, but make sure you go to the root of your React Native project first. So go to the root of your React Native project, run this command. This is our folder name which we had created. Then you will have to do cd ... Again these all steps are in the documentation of turbo modules. So do cd ... You will move outside your React Native project, and you will have to run this command over here, but instead of rnapp you will have to write your own project name. So you can see my project name is rnapp, that's why I'm using it over here as well as over here, and this is our folder name. Once you do that, you will have to cd to Android folder. So cd to the Android folder, and then you will have to run this command. Then for again you will have to cd to iOS folder, and then you will have to run this command. So this will do code generation for this rtn my upload folder. Once that is done, make sure you open the Android folder inside Android Studio. Once you open that, you will have to go to, okay, not this, you will have to go to this build.gradle file of module app, and typically in React Native project you will see this apply plugin thing, right? But I had to modify this apply plugin to use this. The things are same, like here com.android.application, this thing over here Kotlin Android, com.facebook.react, The reason why I have to refactor this is because we want this ID of com.apollo graphql.apollo. You can't really write apply plugin com.apollo.graphql.apollo.version. It won't work, your sync won't work. That's why I had to refactor this. Then also you have to write this bit of code as well. So this com.rnapp is my package name. So if you see over here, this is my namespace. So whatever is your namespace, you use it over here. Once that is done, what you will have to do is, don't sync the project, there are few steps pending. Then add these two dependencies. So this is for the Apollo runtime of GraphQL, we are using Apollo Kotlin, and this is the Android X lifecycle runtime, so because we want to use coroutines. Then if you click on sync now, you will get an error, but you have to click on sync now. So click on sync now, you will get an error saying no schemas GraphQL found, okay, something like this. So what you'll have to do, open your terminal and you will have to run this command. So just run this command inside your terminal. Okay, this, make sure it is the terminal of your Android Studio because we want to run it inside the Android folder. So just run this command, but again this should be where your backend is hosted. So this URL, my backend is hosted on localhost colon 4000. Also your backend server should be running, otherwise again you will face issue. What it basically does is that it downloads this schemas.graphql file over to this folder structure. Once this command is successful, then you can click on sync now. Once you do that, you will have to go to project drop down, then go to app, src main GraphQL, and here you will see this file been downloaded. Also what you can do, you can go to Android Studio settings, go to plugins, and you inside marketplace you can search for this GraphQL plugin. This will just help for IntelliSense and code completion. If you don't want it, don't install it. Next, I have created one more GraphQL file called, just create a normal file and name it as upload picture mutation.graphql, or name it whatever you feel like, and I have just added my upload profile picture mutation. Okay, and then the important step is you will have to click on this hammer icon. If you don't click on this hammer icon, or whatever you call it, build icon, the code generation for this upload profile picture mutation won't be generated for you. So for proper code completion, make sure you click on this hammer icon. Next, I will go back to the Android module. Inside Android manifest, I have just added this internet permission. Also I have added this uses clear text traffic because my Node.js app backend is hosted locally. Then I have created this interface called user client. It has one method called upload file. It takes a file as an input and gives string as the output, which is the pre-signed URL from AWS S3. Next, I have created a class called Apollo user client, which takes the Apollo client and it implements this user client interface. So it has to override this upload file, and once it gets the file, it converts to an toApload object, which is from the Apollo Kotlin itself. And then we just call Apollo Kotlin.mutation. Again, this would depend on how you have named that Apollo profile picture mutation file, okay, or GraphQL file. So I have named it like this, and again this is proper IntelliSense. We just pass that upload, then we call execute, then we call data, and again this might differ depending on your GraphQL output. So mine output looks like this. Again, the Apollo Kotlin IntelliSense will help you for that. Okay, so now coming back to our main activity. So here, as you can see, I have defined that internet thing which we were discussing inside our turbo module, and once we request the permission from our turbo module, the callback come over here. Okay, I'll come back to this later on. So here, as you can see, I'm defining our OK HTTP client. Once the OK HTTP client has been defined, what I am doing is that if you want to pass some bearer token, you can use this code as well, but I don't have any. Then from OK HTTP client, I am creating our Apollo client, and this should be your backend URL. If you are trying to run it on real device, don't use localhost, use your Wi-Fi's IP address. And otherwise, if you are trying to run it on the emulator, you can't use localhost. You might have to Google it for it. What is the local? I think it is something like 10.2.2 something. And here we are passing our OK HTTP client, and then we are calling build method. Then we are creating our new. So here we are creating this register for activity result. So this is why we can't write the main code inside turbo modules, because you can only use this inside an activity. So I'm just calling pick visual media. Okay, and when this is called, once this permission has been granted for internet, which is by default granted. So once we have that permission, I'm just calling new photo picker.launch, and here you can see I'm just launching image only. And I have also created this method, helper method, just to check whether the permission was granted. Okay, in case if not, then I'm just returning false back to the React Native side. Okay, and so once you pick an image, you will get an URI for it. So from that URI, we want the actual path. So to get the path, I have defined another method. So this is how you get a path from a URI. Once you get the path, what I'm doing is I'm creating a file out of it. So once I create a file, so here you can see I'm creating a file out of it, because this path can be null as well. That's why I have to use something like this. And I'm also calling this Apollo user client. I'm creating object of it, and I'm calling the upload file method of it, and then passing file to it. Okay, so this let is only for maybe this file can be null, that's why. Then to send the data back, I'm just again using this context, which will help us to send data back to the React Native side, so the AWS S3 pre-signed URL. Okay, once that is done, so let me just check. I have shown you this, I have shown you this, I've shown you this as well as this. Yeah, okay. Next, what you'll have to do, open your React Native project, and here you can see if it is inside my app.tsx, I have created two files, Android and iOS. So if it is an Android, if you're running it on Android, I have created this android.tsx. so basically a use state for image URL I have created. I have imported our library as well, turbo module, and inside use effect I'm constantly listening for that message from from that native Android side, and if it is not equal to false, then I know that it is a proper image URL. And here on return I'm just removing all the listeners, and on here you can see I'm on button press, I'm just calling this upload method, and once we get the image URL, I'm just displaying it inside the image component. So yeah, that's it for Android. Let's see how to do it for iOS. Step is for iOS, and we will be making use of this library Apollo iOS. So what you will have to do, open iOS folder inside Xcode, and we will be making use of Swift package manager. I will tell you why we are using it, and to make use of it you will have to copy this URL. So I'll just copy it. I have written some cheat sheet as well, because I don't remember the documentation, so I'll just copy it. You can copy it from the docs as well. So this is my iOS project inside Xcode, and you will have to click it over here. Don't click on the top, click at this folder, whatever is your project name. Just click on file, click add package dependency, then select enter the URL for Apollo iOS. I see this, I'll click on add package. Then it will fetch all the dependencies for me from GitHub. So just a second. Alright, now what you'll have to do is, if you are seeing this none everywhere, what you'll have to do, go to Apollo first, select your RN app or whatever is your project name, and we don't require any other dependency, so we can completely ignore it. We only need Apollo. So yeah, then click on add package. So here you can see your package is been installed. Now what I'll do is I will right click over here. Okay, sorry, now what you'll have to do is you will have to right click over here. So you see this install CLI. This option was not visible for me when I was trying to install it via CocoaPods. I'm not sure, maybe in future they will fix it. That's why I used Swift package manager. Swift package manager is just like CocoaPods, nothing different for us as a developer. Like if you are yeah, anyways, so just click on install CLI. I'll click run. Allow command to change files, allow command to access network. Okay, this is done. Let's see what's the next step. Next we will have to run this bit of command, but over here instead of my user API you can name it whatever you feel like. Name whatever makes sense for you. So mostly my backend APIs are related to user APIs, that's why I've named it something like this. You will have to open your terminal, cd to your iOS project, run this command. Once you run this command, so here you can see I'll open iOS folder of your project, and you should see this file being created. Now open this file in VS Code. So I'll just drag and drop. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to copy paste this bit of code. So I'll just uncomment this, comment this, copy this code after the output JSON object. So I'll just add a comma, paste it over here, and this again should be your backend API, and your server should be running before firing that particular command as well, otherwise it won't work for you. So I have copied it. Okay, I'll just comment this out again. Next we'll have to run this command inside your terminal. Make sure you are in the iOS directory. I'll quickly run this command. Once you run this command as well, here you can see this GraphQL folder been created. So if you go to your project as well, inside iOS directory, this GraphQL folder is created. But if you open Xcode, you won't see this GraphQL folder. So we have to add that GraphQL folder over here as well. So what I will do is, I'll just right click, I'll select new group, I'll just name it as GraphQL. Then what I'll do, I'll click over here, I'll click add files to RNApp, and here you will have to select that GraphQL folder which was created automatically, not this new GraphQL, but the originally which was created. And inside that you will see this schemas.graphql files. Make sure all these are checked, like what I have on my screen. Click add, it should add that. Okay, next we require this upload profile picture mutation. So I'll go to my Apollo server. Okay, I'll just first create a file. So I'll just right click over here, new file, I'll scroll down. In others I will select empty, I'll select next, I'll name it as upload profile picture dot GraphQL. I'll click on create, then I will just copy paste this, Control A, Control C, Control V. Okay, that is done. Let's see what's next step. Okay, then we'll have to call this Apollo iOS CLI generate, so it will create code generation for our upload file mutation. Okay, so I'll just go to again to our iOS directory. I'll run this command quickly. Once that is done, what you will see is inside your iOS project you should see this folder my users API. So what you will have to do, once you see the, again if you remember, I created the folder name as my users API. If you had created some other folder name, you will see that while running this command. Once you see that folder, you will just have to again go to your project, file, add package dependencies, click add local. Here I am inside my RNApp. I'll go to iOS, and here I will select my users API. I'll click add package. Also for this reason as well, Swift package manager is better. If you then I don't know how to add this my users API via CocoaPods. Again, that would become a lot difficult. That's why it's better to add Apollo iOS via Swift package manager itself. Then I'll click on add package. Okay, next it is showing question mark over here, that's fine. Then you will have to select this, your main project, go to targets, go to build phases, then link binary with libraries, and I already see my users API. If you don't see it, just click over here, and here you can select my users API package. Okay, this one, sorry. Then I'll click on add. So again it was already added, so it didn't do anything, but make sure you have this. Let me just check. Yeah, go to build phases, select link binary with libraries. Okay, see what next we have to do. So firstly you will have to go to your info.plist, add this photo library usage description permission, because we will be picking image from your photos app. Next I have created an header file, so rtn my upload, again with the same folder name, and I have literally copy pasted everything from the documentation. Only this name has been changed, this has been changed, this has been changed, and this has been changed. Next I have created an Objective-C file with a name of rtn my upload, but you will have to make sure once you create the Objective-C file, you will have to change the extension to .mm, which is Objective-C++. Again I have copy pasted everything from the docs. We'll come back to this file in a while. Next you will have to create this Swift file called network. So once you create a Swift file, Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Click yes, and here you can see that I have just imported Apollo foundation, and this will be our singleton. So this will help us to upload file to our to our backend, which will upload file to AWS S3. Again, this should be your own URL of your backend. Don't use mine, otherwise you will face issue. Once you have this bridging header created, go back to your RTN my upload. Again, I have copied everything from the docs. So this name has been changed. So this should be your bridging header name. So as you can see, my bridging header name is rnapp. So rnapp, whatever is your bridging header name, followed by -swift.h will be common for everyone. Again, this has been copied from docs, only this name will change. Here I am creating an object of our Swift file. So this is the Swift file which I will come back to. And again, this has been copied from docs, only this name has been changed. This method we are overriding from the TypeScript file which we have defined for our turbo module, and then we are calling the upload file method which has been defined inside this my upload Swift file. Okay, and then we are ending the file. Next, inside your bridging header you will have to add this import of event emitter h, and next create this event emitter h file as well. So this will help us to send data from native iOS to React Native app as well. Okay, so again, just copy this. I have also copied it from Stack Overflow. Next, you will have to create an Objective-C file as well for this header file with the implementation. Again, I have copied it from Stack Overflow. Basically, it helps us to send data from native iOS to React Native side. Next, finally, you will have to create this my upload file. So firstly, you will have to add all these imports. So again, this should be your own import, like whatever you have named the folder name while generating the command. And here we are importing PHP curve view controller delegate as well. So as soon as this upload file is called from your Objective-C code, basically we are first checking for permission from PH photo library. If it is authorized, then I am calling peak photo. So if you see inside pick photo, we are basically creating configuration for PH picker. We are allowing selection of one image, and the filter is for images. And here, with the help of RCT presented view controller, I am launching that PH picker controller. Once the picker controller is launched and user picks an image, the call comes over here. So I am dismissing the picker for photo picker. I am getting the first item which the user has selected. I am converting it to a UI image. Then from UI image, we need to convert it to a data. So for that, I am using this. Then with the help of GraphQL file, which is from Apollo iOS as well, this again should be your own key name which you are using while uploading the file. So if you remember, inside graphical, this was my variable name, so use the same name over here. Okay, and this is the image name which you can use whatever you want. This is the image data. Then here we are calling network.chat.apollo.upload. So if you remember, we have defined this network file over here. Then we are passing our upload profile picture mutation. Then we are passing again the image name as well as the file. And if it is successful, what I am doing is I am getting the URL. Again, this might differ for you depending on what your backend output is. So mine output looks like this. And with the help of event emitter, I am sending that URL back to React Native side. If there are any error, I am printing it to the console. Okay, so this is how the entire file looks like. Next, I will open VS Code and I will go back to iOS.tsx, and here you can see first I have defined event emitter. So if you remember, inside app.tsx, I am referring this iOS file for iOS platform. So if you see iOS.tsx, I have defined our native event emitter. I have defined image URI as well, and inside use effect, I am listening for that particular particular data which we send from native iOS to React Native side, like that image URI, pre-send image URI. Once we get that, we set it inside our state, and here you can see on button click, I'm just calling rtn my image upload.upload, and once we have the image URI, we are just displaying it inside the image component. So yeah, that's it. Let's see the output for our iOS demo. So if I click on select image, I'll pick one image. It should get uploaded to S3. It gives us a pre-signed URL, and you should be able to see that image inside our image view. So here you can see it is displayed. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.